North Korea, the ghost state on the global economic map. A country where the internet is shut off, borders are sealed tight, and international corporations are nowhere to be found. No McDonald's, no car dealerships with shiny Tesla or Hyundai models, no shopping malls with Apple stores. And yet, here lies the paradox. According to UN data and independent research centers, this very isolated country earns billions of dollars every year. How is that possible? How can a regime, cut off from global markets and buried under dozens of sanctions, manage to build a shadow system that not only ensures survival, but also develops nuclear programs, builds rockets, and organizes military parades? Picture a satellite image of the Korean peninsula at night. South Korea glows with millions of lights. The neon signs of Seoul shine just as brightly as the screens of the latest iPhone 15 and Samsung Galaxy. Highways are packed with cars, billboards shimmer with the logos of LG, Kia, and Netflix. And the north? Pure darkness. Just a few tiny dots of light around Pyongyang and some border towns. That's it. A darkness that looks dead. But hidden within that darkness are financial flows, cyber barracks, and underground factories. Official reports are shocking. North Korean hackers earn up to $1 billion a year solely from cyber attacks. That money funds missiles, submarines, nuclear tests. Meanwhile, the ordinary North Korean lives without a smartphone, without a laptop, without even basic appliances like a Samsung washing machine or an LG television. This is what stuns analysts. A country where children have never seen YouTube or TikTok, where adults ride bicycles instead of cars, somehow manages to build intercontinental rockets and fund cyber armies that break into systems in the US and Japan. The world is used to thinking of North Korea as poor and backward, but the facts tell a different story. It is a shadow state. Its economy is a web of secret channels, underground deals, and criminal schemes. Coincidence? Hardly. Too many patterns, too many burned trails, all leading to the same conclusion. North Korea has mastered the art of earning money by bypassing every rule. And here's the main question we'll tackle today. What exact sources of income allow Kim Jong-un's regime to keep the entire world on edge? The fact remains, without external cash flows, North Korea would have collapsed long ago. But its exports look nothing like what we're used to seeing from its neighbors. Here there are no iPhones on display, no electric cars in showrooms, no Amazon or Netflix. Instead, special cargoes, digital schemes, and gray markets. Metal from the arsenal. The first source is heavy metal. Old Soviet systems, gathering dust for decades, are finding new buyers. Containers labeled equipment for humanitarian needs turn out to be filled with crates of special hardware. They are shipped along closed routes through neighboring countries. The Chinese Channel. The second source is China. That's where seafood, cheap beer, tobacco, and even light industry goods are sent. Thousands of North Koreans work in the neighboring Liaoning province, some on construction sites, some at factory machines, assembling parts for smartphones and laptops. But they never see their wages. Every cent goes straight into Pyongyang's collective piggy bank. These workers live in barracks, sleep on wooden bunks, eat from rations. Yet every day of their labor brings foreign currency into the regime's treasury. Digital assets. The largest revenues come from the online sphere. According to experts, in recent years Pyongyang has made over $1 billion through manipulations with virtual currencies. The methods vary, from outright hacks to clever tricks via DeFi platforms. And what's surprising, it's not done on supercomputers. In digital barracks, dozens of young people sit behind laptops as outdated as an old Dell or ThinkPad. On the surface, just an ordinary office with fans buzzing, but in reality, a digital frontline. Special laboratory products. There is yet another stream of income. Laboratory products. What used to be cooked in basements is now produced under the supervision of specialists in well-equipped facilities. Through intermediaries in neighboring countries, the chemistry is shipped further into Asia. Each batch brings millions into Pyongyang's coffers. Gold and rare elements. And finally, rare elements and gold. Officially, the mining is minimal, but in reality, tons of raw materials leave the country through third parties. Insiders claim that some shipments are disguised as materials for EV batteries or laptop processors. The result? Thus, a strange picture emerges. A country without Amazon or Netflix earns billions through digital schemes. A country without Tesla or Mercedes on its streets holds on to heavy metal in its arsenals. A country where people dream of owning a simple bicycle somehow plays on the global financial stage. Coincidence? Hardly. Too precise, too well calculated, too profitable. And what do you think? Are North Korean hackers an elite raised from childhood, or poor students exploited as disposable cogs? North Korea has learned to sell anything, even things that in a normal economy wouldn't be considered a product. And this is exactly where the regime's creativity shines. Every little thing becomes a source of income. Labor migration officially, thousands of North Koreans are sent abroad on state contracts. In Russia, they build houses, repair roads, and work in mines. In China, you can find them in factories assembling parts for Huawei smartphones or Lenovo laptops. In Africa, they work as miners and in some places, even as doctors. But none of their wages go into the workers' own pockets. It all flows straight to Pyongyang's budget. The person might receive just a few scraps, sometimes less than the cost of a used Daewoo bus ticket. For the regime, however, it's a gold mine. Experts estimate that the export of labor brings North Korea hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Seafood and hidden goods. The second scheme is the export of seafood. Squid, shrimp, crabs, shipped to China and even Japan. The fishermen use outdated boats, more like museum relics than real vessels. But the goods move and the money flows. Sometimes seafood is just a cover. Under the guise of fish, containers may carry shipments of gold, rare earth elements, or sometimes even narcotics. Counterfeit brands. The third scheme is counterfeiting famous brands. In underground factories, they sew sneakers a la Nike, brew beer in cans that look like Heineken, and even assemble smartphone clones resembling Samsung on the outside, but inside with hardware from 10 years ago. These goods are shipped to Africa, the Middle East, and some parts of Asia. People there buy them cheaply, unaware that behind the logos lies North Korea's gray export. The internal black market. The fourth source of income is the domestic black market. Although the country is closed, smuggling thrives at its borders. Across the Tumen River, Chinese traders move Xiaomi smartphones, Adidas clothes, and used Toyota cars. These goods are sold at bazaars in Pyongyang and other cities at triple the price. In the end, the regime collects taxes and controls the circulation. Even a simple flash drive with South Korean or American films costs as much as a month's salary. And yet, people still buy them, because they want even a fleeting glimpse of another world. The result: all these schemes, migrant labor, seafood, counterfeit brands, smuggling, bring no less money than weapons or drugs. North Korea's economy runs on the principle, every scrap must be used. Coincidence? Hardly. This is a system polished over years, one that has become as much a weapon as the rockets paraded through Pyongyang. And what do you think? What's more important for the regime? Weapons sales or the quiet schemes like labor migration and counterfeiting? Insiders claim North Korea doesn't just have an official economy. It has an entire factory of clever schemes that work better than any plant. It's a system where money isn't born on an assembly line, but in the shadows, behind closed doors, under the disguise of legal processes. High-grade paper. Since the late 20th century, rumors have circulated about special quality paper nearly indistinguishable from the original. The technology was so precise that even ATMs accepted it without question. According to experts, underground workshops housed machines on the level of Canon or HP, used to print banknotes that matched the real thing down to the tiniest details. Imagine a sheet that felt and looked just like real money, with watermarks and all, circulating in the economy for years. Digital brigades. The second pillar of the gray economy, IT specialists. In Pyongyang, young people are taught from childhood. First basic computing, then programming. Their workplaces are nothing like Google or Microsoft offices. Most often, it's old monitors and processors that elsewhere would have been scrapped long ago. But through virtual profiles, they get jobs in foreign companies. They write code for apps, fix bugs, sometimes even work on security projects. The irony is that a piece of code on your Android or Windows device may have been written by someone who doesn't even have internet or basic appliances at home. Labor export. The third scheme is selling labor. Builders, miners, sailors, thousands of people are officially sent to Africa, Russia, and China. There, they build houses, dig mines, repair roads. They work next to heavy machinery like Caterpillar bulldozers and Komatsu cranes. Yet they themselves receive only a tiny fraction of the pay. The bulk of the money goes to the country's central fund. For the regime, it amounts to tens or even hundreds of millions every year. Camouflage and stability. All these schemes share one thing. They're nearly impossible to trace. High-grade paper blends seamlessly into circulation. Digital brigades hide behind fake identities. Workers are officially contracted abroad. Paradoxically, an economy built on such processes proves resilient. While other states rely on oil or technology, North Korea thrives on gray schemes. And this web is so strong that even the toughest sanctions don't bring it down. Coincidence? Hardly. This is a system polished over decades. And what do you think? Which is more dangerous? High-grade counterfeit paper or the digital brigades? The economy of North Korea is a paradox. There are no skyscrapers with offices of international corporations, no car dealerships with shiny Teslas, no shopping malls with Apple storefronts. But there is something invisible to the eye, a network of shadow flows working with the precision of Swiss watches. Instead of factories producing smartphones and laptops, workshops printing high-grade paper. Instead of modern IT hubs, digital brigades writing code for apps across the world through virtual profiles. Instead of streams of tourists and goods, trains of migrant workers turned by the country into living exports. The fact remains, North Korea has become the world's largest shadow state. It lives not on storefronts and factories, but on clever schemes. Labor sales, digital manipulations, rare elements, and special laboratory products. And the harder the world tries to shut it down with restrictions, the more sophisticated its economy becomes. But there's a point that worries analysts most. All the billions earned through digital operations can't be used inside the country, where there's no real market for electronics or cars. They must be moved abroad. And here, neighbors to the south and west come into play. Through shell companies and fictitious contracts, virtual assets are converted into real money. On paper, it looks like server deliveries for data centers or car parts for factories. In reality, a cover for laundering. Coincidence? Hardly. Too many coincidences, too many people looking the other way. And what if this country has become a convenient tool for a bigger global game? A tool wielded by far more powerful players. And here's the ultimate question. Who really runs this network? Chinese banks? A shadow elite? Or is Pyongyang itself playing a much bigger game than we think? Subscribe, because in the next episode we'll uncover how Pyongyang's digital brigades steal assets from virtual wallets and why even the world's biggest intelligence agencies remain silent.